The anime kicks off with a girl stumbling upon an unconscious figure, questioning if he's a human or a slime in human form. And as the boy awakens in panic, she holds a weapon, prompting his confusion about his surroundings. The girl cryptically mentions that everything in this world comes from drops, setting the stage for a quest tied to bean sprouts. As the boy grapples with his new reality, he wonders if he's still on Earth. The girl, equally puzzled, tries to decipher his words, leading the boy to realize he's been reincarnated into a different realm. The girl, a level 1 adventurer, introduces him to a status board resembling a video game interface, showcasing her novice stats. Despite her beginner status, her stats are far from inadequate. When the boy's stats are revealed, both are surprised. His ranking is impressively low, seemingly stuck at level 1. However, the shock intensifies when it's revealed that he holds an S rank, a unique status compared to the conventional A to F ranks. The girl's more shocked than a wizard finding a unicorn at a coffee shop. The boy's slime encounter is so bean-tastic, even Slimy McSlimeface is considering a career change to bean supplier. Who knew slimes could be so bean-erous? In exchange for his bean sprouts, the girls invite Ryuta to lunch, treating him to delicious soups and lentils. Reflecting on his past life, Ryuta realizes how devoid he was of such care, stuck in a corporate drone existence filled with unpaid overtime and convenience store meals. His awakening in this new world marks a departure from the relentless rat race of deadlines. Emily Brown, the girl, introduces herself and shares information about the nearby town. Despite living in the dungeon due to financial constraints, she becomes Ryuta's guide to this unfamiliar realm. Through various adventures, Ryuta earns enough to rent a place for 20,000 a month. Surprising Emily with the keys to the house, Ryuta explains that he bought it as a gesture of gratitude for her suit. To his astonishment, Emily suggests they share the place, with her promising to cook delicious meals for him. The next day, Ryuta visits the trading place where Urza frequents, buying bean sprouts for 2,000 pilons. Urza invites him for a drink, but Ryuta politely declines. During their conversation, Urza informs him about a newly discovered nearby dungeon, Nihonium. Upon his return, Ryuta is amazed by the transformation of the once unkempt area, as Emily reveals her dedication to cleaning and organizing. Inquiring about the new dungeon, Ryuta learns that Emily finds it unappealing due to the lack of rewards. Despite this, Ryuta remains determined to raid the mysterious dungeon. Ryuta engages with the skeletons within the dungeon, emerging victorious. Among the spoils, he discovers a seed exclusive to S-ranked adventurers. Emily, despite having a higher level, can't acquire the coveted seeds. Despite his level 1 status, Ryuta manages a significant boost in HP. Even with modest stats, he's attracting bunny girls faster than a magician pulls rabbits out of a hat. Who knew carrots could be the real MVP in a dungeon adventure? Later in the evening, Ryuta is surprised to find the bunny girl at his door. She playfully smacks him on the head, but Ryuta's increased HP saves him from any harm. She produces the carrot she took from the dungeon and returns it to Ryuta, inviting the bunny girl inside for dinner. Emily serves a delicious meal primarily prepared with carrots. Emily's cooking prowess leaves both Ryuta and the bunny girl in awe, creating a bond between them. Despite their different pasts, both had experiences of living alone and find comfort in each other's company. The next day, Ryuta enters Nihonium Dungeon Level 2 and encounters a zombie monster. When his spear breaks during the fight, his S-ranked HP proves crucial, saving him from a zombie attack. After defeating the zombie, Ryuta wonders what a level 2 seed might bring. Inside the dungeon, when the disciples struggle to defeat a slime due to exhaustion, captains step forward and effortlessly eliminate the slime in one go. Amidst the demanding routine, the captain remains obstinate in withholding even the slightest gestures of kindness from his disciples. The captain's leadership style is like a tough love smoothie, no kindness, just a blend of toughness and relentless demands. It's giving Ryuta flashbacks to his past life manager. During Ryuta and Emily's mealtime, the unveiling of their meal bag is interrupted by the lively arrival of Eve, the bunny girl. She eagerly indulges in Emily's delectable offerings, and the trio thoroughly enjoys the flavors of the food. However, their pleasant mealtime is interrupted by the disapproving presence of the captain and his followers, who label Ryuta, Emily, and Eve as idle. Eve, fueled by their disparagement, swiftly approaches the captain with menacing gestures, driving him off in a blink of an eye. On their way back home, they hear a commotion building in the surroundings. People are shouting in panic about a dangerous threat known as Stray. Emily explains the danger of strays, emphasizing that even esteemed adventurers avoid confronting these ferocious creatures. To Ryuta's surprise, Stray turns out to be a giant gorilla threatening the town. In a decisive move, Ryuta chooses to face the gorilla to save the town and its people. Other adventurers join him, witnessing his determination. Against all odds, Ryuta shocks everyone by defeating the giant gorilla. The display of power by a mere level 1 adventurer leaves everyone in awe. As a reward for eradicating the gorilla, Ryuta receives a pistol with a handful of bullets. Intrigued by the unique reward, he wonders about its origin and decides to test it in the Nihonium dungeon. The pistol proves effective against the zombie monsters, and Ryuta easily eradicates a group of them. When he assists Emily with precise bullet shots, even she expresses surprise at the extraordinary reward. Continuously climbing the ranks ladder, Ryuta invites Emily to the next ranked dungeon. Approaching the higher levels of the dungeon, they encounter creepy cockroach monsters. Killing these monsters earns them pumpkin rewards, which have higher trade values than carrots. Emily, unable to control her rage, undergoes a dramatic aura change with red flaring eyes, terrifying Ryuta. He seeks a way to bring her back to normal after eradicating the monsters. Emily apologizes for her rage, explaining that her intense emotions were triggered by facing the cockroaches. Ryuta inquires Urza about the presence of cockroaches outside the dungeon, learning that unattended drops can attract monsters beyond its confines. Inspired by this revelation, Ryuta comes up with the idea to use drops as bait to lure monsters and earn bullets in return. The plan succeeds, and the drops turn into bullets immediately. Expanding on this strategy, Ryuta uses monsters in the dungeon as strays to increase the rewards. The tactic proves successful again, this time yielding freezing bullets as a satisfying reward. Ryuta and Emily eventually make their way home, only to encounter an ominous man accompanied by a woman. The woman desperately attempts to explain her struggles with bringing a cart down from a hitch, but her explanations fail to convince the man. Little do they know, the man has succumbed to the influence of malevolent forces, manipulated by their formidable powers. The woman, aware of the dire situation, implores Ryuta for assistance, urging him to embark on a journey to a nearby village and gather reinforcements for her rescue. However, Ryuta rejects the idea. Motivated by a desire to redefine himself in this new life, Ryuta is determined to project strength and resilience, aiming to transcend his past limitations and protect those in need. Together with Emily, they display a well-coordinated attack, successfully eradicating not just one or two, but a considerable number of famine monsters. The adventures continue for Emily and Ryuta as they encounter a rare yellow monster. To Emily's surprise, the monster drops a rare necklace that can boost an adventurer's attack to 200%. Delighted, Emily accepts the gift and unleashes a series of vehement attacks on the monsters, resulting in a heap of bamboo shoots. However, when Ryuta takes the items to Urza, she seems hesitant to accept the relatively common bamboo shoots. A woman from behind approaches Ryuta, expressing a strong desire for the bamboo shoots. Mesmerized by their taste, she ends up buying all of Ryuta's possessions for a generous sum of 20,000 pilos. The surprises continue for Ryuta as Urza reveals that the woman he just traded with is none other than Eric Macy, one of the most esteemed adventurers. Back inside the Nihonium, Ryuta crosses paths with a clan-led the Princess Margaret herself. Her aide reveals that the princess is here on the hunt for mysterious monsters which do not yield anything but air. Air boxes sold under Princess's name are very high in demand in Sekiro. What grabs Ryuta's entire attention is their magical cart. This realizes him the dire need for the magic cart for them as well. Ryuta proposes that they must focus on buying the cart first, and then think about changing the place. Emily seconds his opinion and they head for the cart shop hoping that they may see the cute-looking Olga. However, when they approach the shop, they find young Olga vehemently crying for her father, who did not return from the arsenic dungeon nearby. Ryuta and Emily go in search of her father inside, only to find him sleeping inside the dungeon. The old man reveals that he came here in search of light rocks which are specifically found in the dungeon. Ryuta turns frozen bullets into magical stepping stones, elevating teamwork to icy new heights. The old man's so grateful, he's handing out magical carts like they're the coolest souvenirs in the mystical realm. Upon Ryuta's visit to Urza's shop for a trade, he unexpectedly finds himself in a tense situation. Urza is facing a confrontational individual who demands a higher payment for his goods, threatening destruction if his terms are not met. Despite Urza's attempts to reason, the man remains adamant. As the tension rises, the man moves to carry out his threat against Urza. In a timely intervention, Ryuta steps in, skillfully using his frozen bullets to thwart the impending attack and rescue Urza. To confirm the value of the goods, Ryuta utilizes his magical cart, verifying Urza's claim that the items are worth no more than 84 pilos. However, the verification doesn't deter the man. now directing his aggression towards Ryuta. He underestimates the level 1 adventurer. Undeterred, Ryuta confronts the situation head-on. With a calculated and precise punch, he sends the man tumbling against the wall. Grateful for Ryuta's intervention, Urza thanks him and expresses her gratitude by leaning in for a kiss on the cheeks. Meanwhile, Ryuta and Emily, having developed a strong understanding, use the magical cart to transport a large number of items for trade. This successful venture earns them enough money to purchase a new and even more luxurious house, showcasing their growing prosperity in this mysterious world. Emily is busy in the kitchen, delighting in life. Simultaneously, Ryota encounters a series of mummies, exhausting his ammunition. However, he discovers an object on the ground, boosting his speed by 1 point. Subsequently, Ryota faces off in an arm wrestling challenge with Neptune, an attractive hunter with numerous girlfriends. Despite Ryota's formidable S-level strength, he barely secures victory. In the aftermath, Ryota recollects Urza's mention that Neptune represents the most potent organization in Sekiro. Neptune insists on Ryota joining his team, but Ryota remains disinterested and declines the offer. While on his journey, Ryota encounters Princess Margaret's team, who generously bestows upon him a Pandora box. This mystical box automatically collects dropped items, serving as a convenient shortcut for Ryota to amass bullets in larger quantities. To his delight, he also uncovers fire bullets and a mysterious bullet later on. Ryota is brimming with excitement after acquiring these newfound weapons. However, his Pandora box remains untouched. As Ryota contemplates opening it, he suddenly steps back, overcome by a powerful chill. In the midst of this, Emily recalls the reason for her presence and informs Ryota about an impending magic storm. Through Urza's information, Ryota learns that a magic storm is a rare phenomenon, nullifying all magic and preventing monsters from dropping items. Consequently, most hunters take the day off. In the midst of this revelation, Reyes makes an appearance, seeking Ryota's assistance in rescuing his partner Rosa, who is trapped in the Silicon Dungeon. Ryota immediately makes his way to the Silicon Dungeon, and with the help of his fire bullets, he eliminates every monster in his path. He locates Rosa soon but runs out of bullets. Meanwhile, Emily and Eve are making their way to Ryota to help him. Meanwhile, Ryota is running for his life with Rosa on his back as the monsters are chasing him. In a ray of hope, Ryota gazes upon Emily and Eve running his way. However, the zombies are chasing them while Emily and Eve bring Ryota more bullets by copying his Pandora box shortcut. Ryota is quick to take action as he immediately, along with the help of Emily and Eve, takes care of the monsters and successfully retrieves Rosa. Soon, as Ryota brings Rosa out of the dungeon, Reyes notices that she is hurt, but he cannot heal her due to the storm. Move over, Storm, we've got magical marksmanship on our side. Thereupon, Ryota reveals his mystery bullets are healing bullets and asks for Reyes to stop worrying. Shortly after, Emily is thankful that she met Ryota. Ryota brings a watermelon to Urza, and just then, Eric shows up eager to sample the watermelon. Because, you know, expressing gratitude for saving lives requires a bit of fruity drama. After tasting it, Eric praises the watermelon's refreshing texture and sweet flavor, claiming it fulfills his soul. In the course of the conversation with Urza, she drops the bombshell on Ryota that he needs a license to explore dungeons below level 6. Motivated by this revelation, Ryota delves into the deeper floors and heads over to procure his license. The licensing examiner, in a rather unusual move, compels a steel slime from the 6th floor to spawn. Ryota dispatches it with ease, earning his coveted license. A few days later, Ryota intentionally triggers the spawn of another gorilla, defeating it to acquire a second revolver for different bullets. Emily, however, voices concern about Ryota possibly turning evil with 2 revolvers. Ryota reassures her, pledging to remain unchanged as long as she stays with him. In a subsequent conversation with Urza, Ryota learns that the Adalbert group, controlling Silicon's 6th floor where rice is gathered, has ceased selling rice until Urza agrees to a price hike. Additionally, Neptune is hired to assassinate them, but Ryota intervenes, asking Neptune for permission to handle the situation. Soon after, Ryota encounters the Adalbert group on the 6th floor and swiftly defeats them with his newly acquired sleep bullets. Clint Gray, the dungeon chief of Sekiro, seeks Ryota's assistance in resolving a conflict over Selen Dungeon with Hetero Village. Hetero monopolizes meat dungeons, while Sekiro controls vegetable dungeons. Selen, dropping both, prompts Clint to request Ryota's skills to temporarily increase vegetable drops, allowing Sekiro to claim Selen and its meat drops, thus eliminating reliance on Hetero. Ryota takes Emily along for the journey. camping overnight, Ryota makes an intriguing discovery that even improperly disposed household trash spawns monsters. By defeating the resulting Frankenstein monster, he stumbles upon homing bullets that pursue targets if the initial shot misses. Upon reaching Selen, the new dungeon between Sekiro and Hetero, they encounter a perilous amount of trash generated by numerous hunters. Ryota questions the wisdom of leaving so much trash, but his attention is diverted when he observes a fire mage responsible for burning it. He soon notices her symptoms, realizing she's severely overworked, sporting baggy and pale eyes. The mage collapses from exhaustion, prompting concern from Ryota. The mage, Celeste, insists on continuing her work despite exhaustion, prompting Ryota to put her to sleep. Concerned, Celeste soon recovers and is treated to a meal by Ryota and Emily. Celeste shares that drops from Selen are temporarily tax-exempt until its owner is determined, attracting hundreds of adventurers who generate extra trash. Later, as Celeste prepares to leave, Emily urges her to stay in their tent until the event concludes, and Celeste agrees to stay for a while. Upon reaching Sekiro HQ, Ryota learns from Duke, Sekiro's representative, that adventurers will capture vegetable monsters for him to slay, increasing the S-level vegetable drops. Duke emphasizes they only want him to secure rare drops. During their discussion, an informant arrives, revealing a rare monster on level 1. Harvard, Hetero's representative, takes a different approach. He hires F-rank adventurer Eugene to kill as many vegetable monsters as possible, ensuring only worthless F-rank vegetables drop, sabotaging Ryota's efforts. As Ryota shoots the slime monster, it regenerates and grows bigger. Harvard instructs Eugene to finish off the monster. However, Ryota finds the monster's core, and with just one bullet, he manages to kill it before Eugene could. After receiving the completion reward from Duke, Ryota buys Emily an expensive jeweled ring she admired earlier, which increases the value of all her dropped items by 1 level. Ryota then takes Emily to test out the new abilities of the ring that he just gifted and goes over to the 2nd floor of the dungeon. However, Ryota encounters trouble when Harvard manipulates a powerful meat-dropping monster to attack them. If Ryota kills it, it will drop S-level meat, ruining Sekiro's claim to Selen, as it will bring Hetero's score even with Sekiro's. Fortunately, Emily is swift to react as she immediately strikes her hammer and is able to kill the monster. Shortly after, Harvard's men flee the place while being scared, and moreover, Emily receives an F-rank meat as well. Later on, Duke appears to be thanking Ryota for his quick thinking on dungeon level 2. However, Ryota immediately mentions that it wasn't him who did that but rather his partner, Emily. Later, Harvard hires triple the number of hetero adventurers, so Ryota is forced to hunt only the rarest monsters with the best drops. Harvard fires Eugene and his adventurers who try to ambush Ryota for costing them their jobs. After defeating and then healing them, Eugene realizes that he misjudged Ryota. Ryota, Celeste, and Emily are having a meal, and soon Emily goes over to get some more items. As she returns with a cake and some ice cream, she mentions that she used the campfire to make the former. Ryota's healing powers are doing the trick. She explains she faints as she can only use one spell, the level 3 fire magic spell, Inferno, which drains her magic after only a few uses. Moreover, Ryota inquires to Celeste about levels 1 and 2 of her powers, and she reveals that she can't use them. There is also more trash than normal as Selen's Monster Lord has appeared, and adventurers are working overtime. However, soon as Celeste starts feeling worked up, Emily advises her to go and get some rest and assures that everything will go back to normal soon. The very next day, Ryota leaves to survey the ongoing situation, and as he leaves, Celeste inquires to Emily why Ryota is so kind to her. In response, Emily mentions that Ryota is that kind of a person. Soon, as Ryota goes over to Duke, he discovers that Neptune has already been hired to kill the dungeon monster, but the rules say Hetero has to send a team to assist Neptune. They are refusing in the hope that the Lord staying alive will undo all Ryota's work. Ryota then volunteers to kill it independently with Emily and Celeste and proceeds to create a team for himself. Soon, as they reach the dungeon, Ryota notices that there are no monsters. Emily then mentions that when the dungeon master arrives, all the monsters leave. The dungeon master turns out to be a bicorn that can make itself immune to all damage with a magic barrier. During the battle, Celeste realizes she loves Ryota and uses all her magic to burn away the barrier, allowing Ryota to kill it. Ryota gives Celeste the drop item, Buy Horns, allowing her to use a less powerful fire spell that costs 0 magic, meaning she will never faint again. Furthermore, Sekro Village is awarded ownership of Selen, and when Sekro is winning Selen like it's a game show, there is Harvard getting a celestial spanking for his bully blunders. Meanwhile, Celeste is embracing her inner unicorn, lighting up campfires and surprising herself with magical skills. Eve is trying out the carrots, but she does not find them consumable and craves low-level carrots instead. Meanwhile, Ryota is giving Sekro's tour to Celeste and introducing her to the market. Thereupon, for a moment, Ryota starts contemplating what Eve might be doing when suddenly Urza arrives there. As Urza engages in a conversation with Ryota and company, Ryota learns of the Harvest Festival, an event where dungeon items are advertised to the public and then used to spawn monsters for gladiatorial fights. In an unexpected turn of events, a monster accidentally spawns in Sekro and starts creating mayhem amongst the city. Ryota and company are in the vicinity as they come to the aid immediately and succeed in defeating it. Unfortunately, in the process, Emily's warhammer gets destroyed. The following day, Smith, a weapon merchant, leaps at the chance to craft Emily a new warhammer since Emily using one of his weapons will be good advertising. Ryota encounters Margaret again and learns customers are bored of her oxygen, so he suggests she switch to selling jewelry instead as that would greatly interest the customers. Margaret loves the idea and gives him a jeweled ring as a sign of gratitude for his idea. Meanwhile, Eve is looking for Ryota in the Nihonium dungeon level 1, only to get disappointed as he is not there. Later on, Ryota heads over to Ezra to hand over the basket of watermelon and furthermore asks Urza as to what she wanted him to do. Urza then asks Ryota to collect rare items for the festival and even offers to pay for his services. During this discussion, Ryota also discovers that money is dropped in the dungeons as well. Ryota then obtains a potion that increases drop item values, but as a rank S, it is useless to him. In a turn of events, Eve finally catches Ryota and asks him for low-level carrots. Ryota then takes Eve and gives her the carrots. Thereupon, Ryota discovers that Eve has left her party mates. Soon, in a flashback, it is revealed that Eve actually used to hate carrots as a child. However, one day after killing a monster, a small boy appeared as the dropped item, like Ryota, and after killing a monster himself, he gave Eve her first S-rank carrot, addicting her for life, then the boy simply vanished. As her own drop rank is D, she could never gather carrots herself, so Ryota gives her the potion allowing her to get a rank carrots herself. Ryota then asks Eve to give her newly acquired a rank gathering skill a try, and soon as Eve kills off the slime monster, she successfully gets the rank a carrot. Ryota enters the room, only to see Eve eating carrots, whereas Emily is preparing to eat. Thereupon, Ryota immediately notices Celeste with her head down. Upon inquiry, Ryota discovers that Celeste has a headache. Another magic storm appears, and they learn that the storms are the reason that gives Celeste migraines. To overcome this, and since they need a bigger house anyway, Ryota deliberately buys one that blocks the storm's effects, curing Celeste's migraine. The agent then reveals that the house was built using the latest magic storm blocking construction methods. Later on, Emily decorates the house efficiently, and Ryota and Celeste can't help but appreciate Emily's skills. Soon, as Ryota then decides to find the rare items for Urza. Along the way, Ryota encounters a gut slime whom Ryota is unable to defeat alone, so Celeste helps him in defeating the slime. Shortly after, he makes his way to the second floor of Talulu, where a slime monster dies by itself, all the while dropping a carrot, which Eve immediately starts to eat. A weak girl named Alice has started visiting the guild trying to join a party. Moreover, Ryota has started increasing his mana levels, allowing him to use magic, by spawning a metal slime that mimics his fighting style, then killing it. Later, while walking down the road, Ryota and company notice a skilled hunter taking advantage of young hunters, and Alice almost joins the experienced manipulator, but is rescued by Ryota, who takes her into his party instead. Ryota learns that despite her low levels, Alice was born in a dungeon, meaning she knows instinctively where every monster is and can even tame some monsters into smaller, more powerful versions of themselves as pets that fight for her. She does so to a female skeleton named Bonesy and a male slime named Jiggly. Alice then arranges a friendly showdown between Bonesy and Jiggly. As the showdown unfolds, Bonesy turns out to be victorious, and moreover, Alice expresses her gratitude to Ryota for letting her reunite with Bonesy and Jiggly. Emily and Celeste are introduced to Bonesy and Jiggly, and immediately upon having a first look at them, Celeste's cuteness radar goes off the charts upon meeting Bonesy and Jiggly. Stepping into the room, Ryota finds Emily engrossed in cleaning. He inquires about Celeste and Eve, and Emily informs him that they left for the dungeon earlier in the day. Ryota decides to take Emily and Alice along. At the festival, a merchant sells drop items from the Alkyle dungeon, items that spawn monsters worth plenty of experience points. Ryota purchases one, aiding Emily in leveling up. The purchase also yields a strengthening bullet, imbuing the next bullet with grenade-like power. Ryota goes on a shopping spree, accumulating Alkyle items as if preparing for a magical apocalypse. Suddenly, a monster stages a jailbreak, duty calls, and Ryota's squad springs into action, while Emily strikes the monster with her warhammer. However, the creature starts expanding after being hit. Enter Neptune, who, with Ryota's assistance, manages to kill the monster. After a while, Celeste and Eve return from Selin in time to enjoy the festival to its fullest. While they are enjoying the festival, Alice points out that there are various monsters and mentions that they would drop a rare item. Excited, Ryota expresses his desire to join the event. However, he has to choose a companion to go along with, and Ryota decides to fight monsters in the arena with Celeste. Soon, the fight begins, and Ryota, with the help of Celeste, quite efficiently and with much ease conquers the arena while defeating all the monsters. For their reward, they receive children's fireworks. The following day, Clint reveals to Ryota that Emily's trance occurred the exact moment every one of Sekro's 6 dungeons stopped dropping items, a catastrophe for the economy and food supply. Ryota then makes his way to a dungeon where he sees hunters confused as the monsters were not dropping any items. Furthermore, Ryota visits Nihonium and finds that the one responsible is Nihonium's dungeon lord, a female ghost. Ryota is shooting blanks at Nihonium's dungeon master, and she's playing dodgeball with his bullets. Turns out, she's got a no damage policy. His homing bullet proves useless, passing right through her, and fusion bullets also fail. Ryota deduces she must become temporarily solid to hit him, so he employs homing bullets that automatically target her solid limbs. This strategy defeats her, but it leaves him exhausted, leading to his unconsciousness. Ryota discovers the ghost dropped a magic ring that can convert experience points into crystals for anyone. With the help of the ghost's ring, Ryota assists Princess Margaret, Emily, Alice, and Celeste in reaching their maximum levels. Their increased success prompts the Adventurer Guild to send Urza to work directly for Ryota just to keep track of all their items and arrange payments. With this, Ryota announces that they have everything now that they needed and moreover states that they can now go hunting to their heart's content. So, Ryota's journey from battling a resilient ghost to building a thriving adventurer family is a testament to his skills. Despite challenges, Ryota finds joy in the bonds he has forged, and this marks the end to the first season of this thrilling anime.